Hello everyone, Simon from Gorilla Apps here. In this video I'm going to show you how you can use the Monday Workflow Builder to automate your client portal. For those of you who are not aware, we have an app called Client Portal Builder in the Monday Marketplace, which lets you create and manage client portals directly from within monday.com. So let's dive right into it. So not long time ago, Monday released a new feature which is called Monday Workflows, and this is a more powerful way to automate things in Monday. So it's more powerful than the automation concept they used to have and still have. So this workflows feature, it's currently available on all enterprise accounts, but they are also in the process of slowly shipping it to pro accounts, and according to their help page here, it should be available on all pro accounts until mid of October 2025. So this like in a month from now. So on pro accounts, it's a bit limited though. You can create up to 5 active workflows there, and yeah, so you have to check out if that's enough for you, yeah, and if it's worth using this feature. So, but yeah, now let's have a look what you can automate in your client portal. So we released a new update yesterday, which adds a couple of new automation features to the client portal, and we're going to look through them now. So here I've created a test portal for this video, and as you see, we have here 3 clients: client A, client B, client C. We have some columns, a status column which can be set to approved, a date column called last login, an email column. Then we have 2 columns with buttons to enable and disable the client. And now we're going to have a look what kind of automations we can now create. So the first one I want to show you is a way to automatically create a login method for a client. And so let's say you have a work form, which like a registration work form, and you have like a share link to that registration form, which you send like to new clients. And then the client fills out this form and submits it. And this will then create a new item in here, a new client item for that new client. And with our new automation features, you can now also automatically create a login account for that new client, and this is the first automation I'm going to show you now, and this is this one here. So if you've never seen the workflow builder, this is how it looks. You have triggers up here, which you can specify something. Okay, if something triggers, then you want to go ahead and call a certain action. And like in this case, the trigger is when an item was created. And here like on the client's board. So like if a new client item was created, then trigger this action here. And this action, this comes now from our app. And this action says basically, create a credentials login method. So on the new client item, now create a login method with credentials. And for this, pick the email address. So this is the email address from the column, the email column on the client's board. And we're not going to fill out anything for the first and last name of that new account. We're also not putting anything into the password field, because like if we don't fill anything in here, the app will create an automatic password for that login method, and that's what we want to have here. So this means with this setup, client fills out this form, new item, client item gets created here. Then this workflow triggers and creates a login method for that new client with the email address, which that client filled out here. All right, so now the client is able to log in, right? But he or she doesn't know anything about it, because we didn't send that client like the new password and the link to the portal and stuff like that. So this is also something you can automate now, this email creation. And this is the next workflow I have here. It's this one works like this, that you set a trigger which gets triggered when a new credential login method was created. In our case here, the credential login method gets created by this workflow we had a look before. And now we are reacting to that. It got created, and now we want to send out an email to the client. And this is what we're setting up here. So it's in this case, it's the mail is sent with Gmail, but in Monday you can also use Outlook, for example. And here in this setup, we take like the email address from step 1, so from the credentials account that was created. So and this is where the mail gets sent to. Then we just set a subject of the mail. In this case, it just says like "Welcome to the portal." And now this here is the body of the email, and where we can use placeholders in here. And here we just say like, "Hello, client name, welcome to the client portal. This is your email and this is your password." And they are like taken from the first step here and filled out here. So and now like this welcome mail gets sent directly from your Google Mail account to the client on registration. Okay, so the next automation is so as I showed before, we have on the client's board we have 2 button columns: enable, disable, client. And with this workflow which we set up here, we say like, okay, if the button enable client was clicked in the board, then trigger enable the client in the portal. And the same way we have a workflow here. If the disable client button was clicked, then disable the client. So this is also handy when you, for example, want to disable the client after a certain amount of time. So if you say, okay, the client has access to the portal, let's say 1 month, and then at the beginning of every new month, you want to disable the client so that they don't have like access forever, then you can like use like this disable client automation. Okay, next one is we have a date column here, last login, and here we set up an automation which gets triggered when a client logs into the portal. Then we call this action here on the last login date column, and we just set it to the current day, basically. So I'm not entirely sure if you can also like automatically set the time here, or if it's like just the date. It's like a Monday functionality, which I'm not 100% aware of, but it just this like just to demonstrate how this feature works in theory, that you can trigger off things when a client logs into the portal. Then we have the status column here, and now what we want to do is, when the status column is set to approved, we want to send out a mail to the client which says, yeah, you are now approved or something. And this is done in this automation here. Here the trigger is when the status changes to approved, then get the client data, and the client data, this contains like the email addresses of the client, and these are the ones we need like in the next section here. So, and now we're gonna send out an email to the email addresses of the client, and with an email which simply says like, you have been approved, and like some message. Okay, the next one is a bit more complicated. It's the most complex automation I have here in this video. And so let me first give a bit of a background. So in our client portal here, we have a board source of type single client board, and with this board source says like, okay, we want like every client that logs in to pull out the item data of one specific board which was created for that client in this case. And in this case, this board is basically this client project blueprint board. We want this board to get duplicated when a new client registers, and the duplicated board shall be put into this folder, clients boards, and have the name client project, and then the name of the client. So, and then after time, for every client we will have like a separate board and pull out that data into the portal. So I hope it makes somehow sense. It's a bit complicated, and in order to set that up, we have this automation here, which basically works like this. When a new client item was created in the clients board, then go ahead and duplicate this client project blueprint board, and the new board should have the board name client project 4, and here comes the name of the client. And we want to store that duplicated board in the folder clients board, like in this folder here. And we want to keep, it should also duplicate not just the board structure, but also the items. Okay, so now we have like this client specific board but it's not connected yet in the client portal, right? So we now have to tell the app to map that board in the client portal to that specific client. And this is the next action in the workflow we have here, which is basically set client board. And what this does now is we take the client item from the first step here, and then we need to add the board source ID. So you find that in the client portal builder, in the board source, there's an ID for the shared client board, and that's what you have to paste in here. And now we need to take the board ID of the duplicated board and put it in here. And with that, everything is hooked up basically, which means the client just needs to fill out the form, and then automatically a projects board will be duplicated for the client, and it will be hooked up with the client portal. You can, as I shown earlier, send out the client a mail with the credentials and stuff, and then the client logs in and then sees like the items of the project board, like as an example setup. All right. Then we have also like two other automations. I already showed them in a different video where we discussed like the item comments feature. But just for completion, I've added these two workflows here as well. How they work is that if a client adds a comment to an item in the client portal, then you can trigger an automation, for example, like send out an email or something. And you can do the same, like if then the client portal owner responds to a comment, then you can also send out an email, for example, to the client telling him, hey, the client portal owner commented on some item in the portal. Yeah, that's basically it for now. I hope you can see how powerful these automations make the app, and see the benefits you can pull out from here. So as always, if you have any further questions, don't hesitate, send us a message, and thanks. That's it for now. Bye.